9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family, to another amazing episode of the Baseball Together podcast.
Yeah.
Brad is here, as always, in the house.
As always, what's up, baseball family?
We are so excited to be here with you today, this morning, whenever you are watching the video or are listening to the podcast. But it is currently Friday night. It is, for us anyway, it's February 21st. We are excited to bring you some current events tonight. Today, whatever. we're going to talk about the Astros again, but don't worry, we feel the same way you do. And then we have great segments planned on how to prepare yourself to have the best time at the ballpark possible. That's right. So before we get into any of that, what I want to do is tell you that there is a bunch of ways that you can interact with us on the show here, on the podcast. Obviously, we're available on YouTube now and anywhere you like to podcast. But we want to encourage you to jump on Facebook and join the 9 Plus Us VIP group. The easiest way to do that is to go into your search bar and type in 9 Plus Us, the number 9, PLUSUS. Type in 9 Plus Us. You'll pull up the page, and then there's a groups tab. You go to the group, 9 Plus Us VIPs. You have to request access. It's a private group. We like it that way because it's awesome. We want to keep it awesome. But that means you should be involved. So come in and join the private Facebook group where we do baseball all the time. Family friendly. Everybody respects everybody. It's awesome. You can also submit to the mailbag, which is a huge deal. We love it, as Brad said last time, and this is the drum we keep on banging. We love to hear from our listeners and our viewers. And so get on there and tell us what you want to hear about. You can ask us anything you want. We don't care what it's about. Obviously, we love baseball questions, but it can be about anything. So you submit the mailbag. You can do it through baseballtogether.com. And we have links in the show notes here and on the podcast app in the description, wherever you listen. So the other thing you can do is follow us on Instagram. We're starting to build our Instagram up. It's at Baseball Together. And then Brad is on Twitter at Jojo Cornrow. That's Jojo Cornrow. Obviously, it's all one word. I am a Twitter poopy pants.
Twitter poopy pantsery.
There's so much poopy pantsery going on here. I thought about it, Brad, because last time you accused me of some humbuggery.
I did, indeed, yeah.
And I thought, is it humbuggery or is it curmudgeonery? And then I realized it's not. It's poopy pantsery.
I definitely say it's more poopy pantsery than curmudgeonry or humbuggery. I agree with you on that.
Thank you. So first, we have to talk about the players are reacting to the Astros. People, the Astros issued what we might generously call an apology. I mean, they said the right words.
That's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, the right words, the wrong tone, right? Is that what it was?
Listen, my whole life, my dad has taught me, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, okay? So for all of you watching and listening, just put that in your hip pocket, okay? It's not what you say, ever. It's how you say it. This is a prime example, okay? I can apologize to you all day with this big smile on my face, and you're not going to feel any remorse from me because it's not genuine, okay? That's how that works. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I feel like everybody around the league has it right. And, I said last week that the guy who had it right was Carlos Correa because he did sound sincere about it, right? He did. So, like we said, he said that they weren't using a buzzer, and that's my credibility. But then he wouldn't stop talking. He wouldn't shut up. And all his credibility did go out the window.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gotten to be a bigger mess than I think anybody anticipated, ever.
I agree 100% with you. Let's get into some of these.
Yeah.
First, I'm going to highlight David Robertson, who pitches for Philadelphia and is a national treasure, by the way. He said that what they did, it is a disgrace, what they have done, and they're going to have to live with it, and everyone knows. Mm-hmm. Is that enough, though? I don't know. I don't know.
we'll get into this more in a little bit, but according to Rob Manfred, it is because it, like he said, if you look at their faces, they're just beat up about it. No, they're not.
No.
We talked about that last week too, that you can rehearse looking like you feel bad about something. You can practice, the because that's what it looked like was going on at the press conference.
And for those of you watching on YouTube, you have just been treated to that, I'm sure.
yes. Exactly. A classic.
Very good.
Yeah. Why don't you keep going? Go ahead and keep going, Brig. I think you've got the best delivery on these.
Oh, thank you. Roy Oswald. Okay, he's retired, but he spent 10 of his 13 years in Houston. Okay, he said. So let me get this right. You steal signs and you get fired. Okay, but you do steroids, you get millions of dollars in contracts, and then inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Hashtag makes no sense.
Yeah.
Now nobody has. That hasn't happened yet, but it.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say,
table.
I do have to disagree with him on the Hall of Fame part because nobody's gotten in yet. But the millions of dollars and in contracts, yeah, that definitely did happen.
Totally.
And we still could see the millions of dollars in contracts we have actually from stealing signs. Right?
Absolutely.
Because it, from everything that I've heard of players and former players saying when they know what pitch is coming, that inflates your batting average. Because it increases by several points is an understatement, but by a considerable amount.
Well, and Giancarlo Stanton said that in 2017 when he went on his tear, that if he'd have known what was coming, he'd have hit 80 home runs.
Yes, and his president at the time, David Sampson, said he probably would have hit 100 because he couldn't lay off a two-strike slider. If he'd have been able to lay off a two-strike slider, he would have hit close to 100. Which, may have been the case. I don't know.
Also, hashtag David Sampson, not my president. Okay, moving on. So, just kidding. I literally am not a political person. That was just, I couldn't help it. Okay. So
might scrub that. Might
Marwin,
scrub that part.
You might just keep it. I don't know. Put it in the mailbag or the grab bag episode.
The grab bag.
Yeah. So Marwin Gonzalez said, "I'm remorseful for everything that happened in 2017, for everything that we did as a group, and for the players that were affected directly by us doing this. That's why I feel more regret, and that's why I'm remorseful." That was his statement. He's obviously, he was a member of the team at the time. So
right.
But let's. What do you think of that one?
Well, I mean, he definitely said the right words, like we said, right?
Yes.
He may have had some coaching, but he doesn't play for the Astros anymore. So he may have had some more input. He plays for the Twins, for anybody who doesn't know. He may have had some more input from other players, guys on his current team who said, dude, that was messed up what you guys did. And he has legitimate outside sources coming into him saying what he did was wrong. And so he has a better understanding of it and possibly does feel legitimately remorseful for it.
Well, there's a lot to be said about having an outside perspective. And you get caught up in something like this. Like, not everybody. There's some people driving it, and there's some people against it. And then there's everybody in the middle who just kind of gets caught up in it. I mean, that's how social dynamic works. And so there's no way to avoid this. If this kind of thing occurs, then there are those people on those different there's different places on the spectrum, right? Right. So you're right. Maybe he does get caught up in it. But what I'm saying is once you do step away from that, and you're not caught up in that vacuum or that jet stream, it really is eye-opening. So maybe he really is genuinely remorseful because he's on the outside. I don't know. I think you're right, though.
Yeah. Well, and another outside perspective, I mean, the guy who's being called the whistleblower, Mike Fiers, he plays for the A's currently, right?
Yes.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy came out this week, and he said that when Fiers came over, he let Lucroy know, because Lucroy is a catcher, he let him know, hey, these guys are stealing signs. This is what's going on over there. I know everybody suspected it, but it is really happening. And, we can get into a whole thing about everybody suspecting it and it getting swept under the rug later.
Sure.
But But the fact that Lucroy was told that, he said against the Astros, I was changing my signs every pitch. Now,
pitch.
typically a catcher will change up the signs if there gets to be a runner on second. Or if they feel like the runner on second, they may not change it up when that runner's on second, or they feel like there is a runner on second who is actually picking off their signs.
Right, yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally.
It's not common to change up signs when there's nobody on base. You do not do that, because the less you have to mix up the signs, the less you have to change things up for the pitcher, the better. The fact they are changing them every pitch regardless, that's absurd. That is absolutely absurd that they were this afraid, and who knows how many times they got crossed up. That could affect Lucroy contractually, because if they get crossed up and there ends up being a pass ball, that's on Lucroy. That goes negatively towards his stats.
Yes.
And teams may look at him and say, "Oh, he's a little bit of a liability defensively."
Which is ridiculous, because if you watched him play in Baltimore, okay, he was in charge of the entire field. He knew what was going on. He was hustling as much as or better than anybody else. I watched that guy chase foul balls in foul territory constantly. He was correcting umpiring crews about rules that they didn't quite remember. But he'd say, no, this is the rule. The dude is a wizard of baseball knowledge.
Well, and you think about it, he got traded from Cleveland to Texas to the Rangers.
Yeah.
And the only reason he went to the Rangers, I mean, he was the best catcher in the game at the time. And what it was, he had. I mean, this is a little bit of a side note, but the guy has priorities, and they're very clear. He almost got traded to the Cubs that year. I think it was 2016. I'll have to look it up real quick. But he could have gone to the Cubs, and he said, "No, I don't want to go to the Cubs. They're gonna platoon me." So he accepted a trade to the Rangers instead.
Yeah,
because he had priorities. He wanted to play.
That's right.
What he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So,
and now he's
sorry. It was Milwaukee. It was Milwaukee to Texas in 2016.
Milwaukee. Okay.
Yeah. So he could have won a World Series ring that year.
Yeah.
But he chose to play instead.
So then here's the other thing, too. He just got signed on a minor league deal this season.
Yes, he did.
I saw that and was like, what? And I didn't think about it in the way you're proposing, but I think you might be onto something, because if what we've seen from him is what he's capable of, and he's being devalued at this level, then that just lends credibility to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I mean, the other thing is he is 33 and he's a catcher.
Sure.
So that goes into it. But at the same time, like, who knows if maybe he got crossed up because he had to be so complex in Oakland. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's just a thought I had, and thought I'd throw it out there.
Speaking of batteries, that was a really great point. Let's talk about Trevor Bauer.
He's going to be one of my favorite guys.
Me too. You know what? First of all, that was a terrible segue. So I apologize. Second of all, I agree with you. I hated Trevor Bauer and his loud mouth and his weird things, his warm up routine and all his publicity grabbing and stuff,
and his throwing the ball into the center field fence.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, but now I'm like his champion. I'm like carrying his banner.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Yeah. I think because he now that he's being so outspoken, it's like, yeah, that's how I feel too. Oftentimes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So here's what Trevor Bauer said. He said, let's say, this is his February 13th tweet. Okay, for those of you that aren't Twitter poopy pants. He said, let's say someone messes up. Okay, he put a poll on Twitter. Let's say someone messes up bigly even. Which we have to applaud. I mean, let's just give credit where credit's due. Messes up bigly even. And the truth is that they really don't care about messing up at all. In fact, they would do it all over again, and you know this. Asking for a friend, would you rather receive a fake apology or the truth?
I mean, he's spot on. He's spot on there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yep. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
I think he's just got this real media. For those of you that haven't seen the video of Trevor Bauer talking about Rob Manfred and how disconnected he is from the game, was it on Momentum or the Players Tribune or something? Like he goes on this.
It was on Momentum.
Momentum.
It was on He did write something for the Players Tribune, but that video was on Momentum. Yeah.
And he, we got to find a way to put a link in the doobly doo or whatever so that people.
I will. I'll put a link in the doobly doo.
Okay, that will tip. Some of you know what I mean when I say the doobly doo, and now we're best friends. So, okay, so Mike Trout. Let's talk about what he said. Okay,
now before you get into that, I feel like this is the tell of how important this really is, like how big of a deal this is, because Mike Trout doesn't say a word to anybody about anything.
Never.
And he's been criticized even by Rob Manfred for it. So for him to come out and speak negatively about this, it's a big deal. Makes it a really big deal. So proceed.
Thank you, sir. This is his direct quote. He said, "It's tough. They cheated. I don't agree with the punishments. The players not getting anything. It was a player-driven thing. It sucks, too, because guys' careers have been affected. A lot of people lost jobs. It was tough. Me going up to the plate knowing what was coming, it would have been pretty fun up there. I lost respect for some guys." For some guys.
Yeah, some guys. Coming from a guy who seems, I mean, he appears to be the most respectful guy in baseball.
One of.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely one of the most respectful guys. And that came from an article we found on ESPN by Alden Gonzalez. He's a baseball staff writer. And in that article, he also said that some guys reached out to Trout to explain what happened, but it didn't seem to make much of a difference in his opinion. It's pretty heavy, guys.
Pretty heavy.
Pretty heavy.
In his very muted way.
Yeah.
Okay, now...
Yeah, because he wasn't one of those guys who was going to be all animated about it. He
No.
just, they cheated. I would have been fun.
And I'm a little upset because of the impact that it's had on, by the way, I'm upset. Okay, let's move on. So...
Well, especially as a division opponent.
Totally.
They play him a lot.
A lot.
So that's got to be that's probably part of the reason it's so upsetting.
Okay, so let's talk about the dissenting opinions. Let's go to the other side of the argument, okay? So David Ortiz, first of all, Rob Manfred said, "Get over yourself," in not so many words. He's like, "Get over it." Yeah. Jim Crane, the owner of the Houston Astros, said it didn't affect the game at all. But he spent all morning apologizing and getting his players to apologize before the media, all of a minute and a half of apologies or whatever it was from the players. Mm-hmm. And then in the afternoon said, but it didn't affect the game. Let's move on. We won it fair and square. We're still World Series champions. Get over it. Which seems to have been supported by the commissioner or something. I don't know exactly where he stands, but he's clearly wanting to move on too. Now.
Yeah, he is. Sorry, go ahead.
If you're going to say something about that, you should say it now.
Well, the whole thing where he was saying taking away a piece of metal isn't going to do anything.
Bro.
That's where I was headed next. The fact that was his retort, that it basically saying the World Series trophy is meaningless, taking it away isn't going to do anything. It's like, no, clearly you don't understand the meaning of a trophy. I can say that a few years ago I led a group of little leaguers to a city championship, and I got a plastic trophy, and my buddy and I looked at each other and we said, this trophy is the one that I'm most proud of in my entire life.
Absolutely. Yes.
The fact that you can hold, it was a piece of plastic, and we were so happy about it. And we're adults. We're adults in a piece of plastic. Come on.
Yes.
I can't imagine what that is. Those guys have worked their entire lives to get there, and to call it a piece of metal. And Justin Turner was not happy about it.
Oh, Justin
was
Turner.
saying the only thing that devalues it is the fact that the commissioner's name is on it. And at that point, it's getting to be. He's got a point.
He's got a point. Yeah, I was pretty upset. I'm still upset. I'm glad you talked about it because I was going to avoid it because I can't. I don't know what to say, but it's not good. And this is a family-friendly broadcast. So
it's a family show, Brig. Watch your mouth.
Listen, my Army vocabulary, let's call it, is I call it my occupational hazard. Even though I'm retired now. Anyway, here's the point. David Ortiz came out and said, "Oh, so now talking about Fires? How do you say his name?
Fires.
Yeah, leave me alone." So, Fires came out and made his comment. And so David Ortiz, Big Papi, comes out and he says, "Okay, so after you made your money and you got your ring, now you decide to talk about it. Why didn't you talk about it during the season when it was going on? Why didn't you say, hey, I don't want to be a part of this? Right? You look like a snitch." Because, I mean, he snitched.
Right, and I get that. I get that because there's such thing as locker room etiquette.
Yes.
Right? Clubhouse etiquette. So I understand. It doesn't make it right, but I understand where he's coming from with saying that because that's the mentality guys have. You're taught that in high school, if not before.
Yes.
About locker room etiquette.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But I do feel like Fires, on the other hand, I mean, I can understand why he wouldn't want to say anything there at that time because he doesn't know how long he's going to be there. He doesn't want to be ostracized in his own clubhouse.
Nobody wants that. Yes.
Right? So I can see why he wouldn't come forward, but on the other hand, I mean, say something internally, but I guess they knew about it top to bottom, so they probably wouldn't have done anything.
It's been made very clear, I think, that it was top to bottom. Jim Crane's comments during the press conference and his ardent sort of dismissal, I guess. I don't know. How can you be ardently dismissive? But that's what it sounds like. Anyway, it just makes me think like, come on, dude, you totally knew what was going on.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. The fact they had a code, like the code name Code Breakers or whatever. Everybody knew. Everybody knew what it was.
Systemic fraud. Fraud,
Yep.
bro. Lifetime
Absolutely.
bans. You get a lifetime ban. You get a lifetime ban. You get a lifetime ban. So
now let's talk about that for a second because a lot has been said about that over the last couple weeks since this whole thing came down. That the reason that Manfred did not punish the players, and everybody across the league is not happy about it. Like nobody is happy that the players weren't punished.
Everybody but them players.
Well, yeah, even the MLBPA came out and said that they should have been punished, which is funny to me because the reason he didn't even try to punish them was because of the union.
Yes.
Okay, and that says to me that he didn't even try to take this to the union to punish them.
Exactly right.
He was just like, I don't want that fight. I don't want to make that fight. We're just not going to punish them. We'll give them immunity. That'll be the end of it. If he had even gone to the union and said, this is what we're thinking about doing, what do you think? He maybe could have negotiated.
Here's our evidence. What would you do?
What would I do?
He could have gone to them and said, look, we have this developing, growing body of evidence, and I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. What would you have me do?
Yeah. That he was trying to avoid any kind of confrontation because he's afraid of the union, and I mean, I called him a jellyfish in episode 3, and I still stand by it. He has no spine.
You did. You sure did. And I applaud you, Brad.
Yeah,
That's some grade A poopy pantsery right there. It's nice.
It feels a little bit more like curmudgeon.
Maybe it is curmudgeonry. We'll figure it out.
But yeah. Well, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll cool down a little bit, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. We're going to talk about some things that you can do to have a great experience at the ballpark.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back with me. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Shop kids' baseball shirts at 9plusS.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. Like we said, we are going to go through and make a list of things that you can do for a great experience at a ballpark. I figured, like we said, today's Friday. We had the very first spring training game today, and I don't know about you, Brig, but I lost my mind. I saw on Instagram, I saw that first pitch. I was like, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm gonna be down in Arizona in about a week and a half for spring training, and then not long after that, the season starts. It's gonna be fantastic.
Oh.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Can't wait.
Me neither.
So,
yes.
Like I said, we thought we'd give you some tips as to things that you can do to have a great experience at really any ballpark you go to. Doesn't matter if it's Major League, Minor League, whatever.
Now here's the thing. I want to say something before we dive into our actual event or bullet list.
Mm-hmm.
Brad and I, we love to do lists. Okay,
yeah,
we love them.
do. It's true.
They're so much fun. But you should know, kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, we do not share our lists with each other prior to.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happens, I was telling Tiffany about this, what happens is we end up with overlap on at least one bullet every time. So we're batting 1,000 right now, and I feel
true.
Every time we do, we creep a little closer to the cliff's edge.
And I was just thinking, I'm a little worried that since you led in with that, I'm worried that today might be the day.
That's I was building my list, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to think of these same things. I don't know if are these things important to Brad? I don't know. So, baseball family, we are going to go on a discovery period at the same time here. This is going to be a journey
Absolutely.
With
Absolutely.
you. Pretty excited about this.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, I put mine in order of operation. I don't know if you put yours in that same order, but mine was kind of like the checklist of things to go through when you're going to a ball game. Is that kind of how you did yours, or was it like the best things down to the?
That's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, first things first.
Oh boy, and there it is.
There's the. We could count that. That seems fair.
I would think so. I would think we could count that. Oh man, that's too funny. Because that's the thing about this. I just said 5 things you can do when you go to a baseball game. Ready, make your list, go. That was the end of the discussion. That was all we talked about.
That's right.
We talk about how to make it. Nothing.
Nothing.
So that is too funny.
How do you maximize your experience? You know you're going to a ball game. How do you get the most out of it? Well, this is what I would do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. What is the first thing you would do to maximize your ballpark experience, Brig?
Make sure that I put forth a little bit of extra effort and get my seats in the shade. Now,
oh, there you go.
This is going to come into, you might have to call the ballpark. Like I've done this 100 times. It's because we did that cross-country road trip, so we were calling ballparks all the time. Okay, when's the game start? Okay, which way is the stadium facing? Is it when as the sun goes down? Like at this time of day, where is the shade? Because I had a kid and I got a wife that doesn't want to sit in the sun. You know what I mean? So number one, take a little bit of extra effort, and if you can, you should get seats in the shade.
Okay, let me give you a little hack for that. Are you ready?
Oh yeah,
and with a little bit of trivia to come with it.
Oh my!
So a ballpark home out to the outfield.
Yeah.
Will not face west.
No, of course.
Because of the sunset, right?
Right. Yes, of course.
That's the way they always build them. So
yes.
You can kind of get a little bit of an idea there as far as that's gauging. Now, do you know what comes with that little design idiosyncrasy with ballparks?
No. Good word.
The nickname Southpaw. Did you know this?
No. Send it,
so,
bro.
The Southpaw nickname comes from lefties because they're facing south.
What?
Because of the orientation of the ballpark.
Every time?
That's right. Yeah, every time. I've thought about all the ballparks I've been to, and they're always facing out east. The sun is not in the batter's eye.
Boom!
Crazy. Isn't that crazy?
My brain just exploded, bro.
Nuts. And of course, it doesn't always happen with Little League fields, as we've noticed
sure.
Over time. But big league parks and minor league parks, every one I've ever been to, you hit out to the east. So
Okay.
There you go.
Maybe
There you
I
go.
don't need to be calling ballparks anymore. I could just use my big old fat brain and figure it out, I guess.
Look at the big brain on Brig.
That's pretty
All right.
good, man. That's like, talk about maximizing your experience. Now you just made my life better.
Good. I'm glad.
That's high quality.
So are you ready for my first one? It's actually along the same lines.
Okay, yeah.
I put pick your spot. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily, like, if you're into the shade, yeah, like, absolutely,
Yeah.
and maybe call the ballpark and ask what time, see if they know what time the sun goes down, because I have two places that I love to sit.
Yeah.
One is I love sitting behind home plate. I mean, who doesn't love sitting behind home plate?
And you're a
Right.
catcher, so yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. The other spot I like to sit is in the outfield,
Yeah.
because you get such a panoramic view of the entire field. You can see everything that's going on really easily, and it's a perspective that I didn't get growing up when I was playing.
Of course. Yeah.
So I love to sit in the outfield. But I have to tell this real quick. So my wife and I were in California. This would have been probably about 10 years ago now. And we went, the Mariners were in town. She's an Angels fan. So we went to Angels Stadium, and they were playing the Mariners, and she's like, get tickets wherever, I don't care. I was like, okay. And I didn't know about the whole east-west thing, whatever. So I didn't think about where the sun was going to be shining before the game started.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in right field and getting beat down
Oh.
by the sun.
Right.
And she was, the whole time, you are not picking the seats ever again. We are never sitting in this spot. I am miserable. It is so hot. I'm like, yes, it is miserable and hot for now. But the sun's going to go down over behind the grandstand, and we'll be just fine by the time first pitch comes around, which was the case. But man, before that,
See?
I got a chastising.
I'm telling you, if it's just you or your buddies or whatever, like, you got to know your group. But yeah, if you got a kid, especially if you have a kid with you, you got to be in the shade. Yep.
Yeah, pick a shady spot for sure.
Pick your spot, Brad. We might be able to count
Pick
that as an
your-
overlap,
I would think so.
dude. Okay, I can't wait to see where this goes. My number 2.
All right,
You ready?
Number 2. Go ahead.
Bring petty cash.
Oh, that's smart.
You got to
That's
have
a great
some cash because parking almost always is cash only, right? Unless you want to
Right.
want to
Yeah.
hoof it, however far.
one. Yeah.
And and if you're fancy or if you have a toddler, you just go to valet. You just go to the valet.
Smart.
Yeah. So we went to Coors Field in Denver, and we'd never been there before.
Uh-huh.
And I knew to bring cash. And we had an 8-month-old with us. And I was like, we're taking an 8-month-old to a friggin' baseball game. Like, first of all, we're crazy. Second of all, we're huge baseball fans. Third of all, I'm not walking with the kid. Right?
Yeah, no, not a chance.
So we did, dude. We paid $30 for valet parking. We pulled right up to the gate. We prepaid for our tickets. We pulled right up to the gate, and they took the car and moved it for us. And I was like, thanks. I'll see you later.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so
That's great.
bring petty cash because you're going to need it for stuff you don't think you might need it for. So parking is a great example. I've all of the kids stuff is likely going to be manned by a teenager with a fanny pack. So if we're talking bounce houses and any Carney games or anything like that, a zip line at SunTrust Park, they have a zip line.
That's cool.
A water park, like 9 times out of 10, if there's a pool, like that kind of stuff is going to be manned by a 17-year-old, especially at minor league parks, and they just have a fanny pack. So you need cash for that kind of stuff. So number 2 for me, have some petty cash.
That's a great one. And I always like to have some cash just in case. You never know if somebody's card reader isn't going to be working or something.
Totally.
Like the chip on my card is finicky, so I like to have cash when I'm going somewhere like that because you don't want to get there and be like, well, now I can't have water on a 100-degree day because my card's not
Right.
working.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely always carry cash. That's a great idea. That's a good one.
What's yours?
Get there for batting practice.
Yes.
Batting practice for anybody who's ever sat through it's like there's not a whole lot to it, because it's just guys hitting. But if you really sit there and watch, you don't get to just see guys hitting, but you get to see the player interaction. And if you go down to because you can pretty much just wander wherever you want during BP.
Yeah, totally.
So if you kind of go down to the field level, like especially in the outfield, players will come over and interact with you. If you have kids, they'll come over and talk to your kids especially.
Yep.
It's a great chance to get a ball, maybe an autograph, let the kids get an autograph or a picture or something. But the batting practice experience, it's so laid back because guys are just trying to relax before the game. That it's a ton of fun. It is a whole lot of fun to be there for batting practice. So if you can, get there for batting practice because you'll get to see kind of a behind the scenes of how the players are, their personalities, and some of that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
So I love batting practice. I always have, and I think I always will. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, and especially with the new trend with these the city sort of like meetup spot, like the Battery in Marietta and Wrigleyville and stuff like that. You can go in and out of the stadium.
Yeah.
So you go watch BP for a minute. You let the kid get an autograph or whatever, a ball, and then you go eat lunch.
Yeah.
And then you go back in.
Yeah, there's at T-Mobile they have Edgar's Canteen out in left field, so you can go hang out there, and you can go down, watch some batting practice. You can watch batting practice from the cantina.
That's perfect.
So
no, that's great.
It's cool. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's solid.
All right, number 3, Brig.
Number 3, clear, see-through bags. You could. Listen,
I didn't think about that. That's smart.
There is nothing.
That is really
smart.
There is
nothing worse than your wife or girlfriend or you, because you got a kid in a diaper bag or whatever, you're going to take your bag to the ballpark, and at the gate, they're going to turn you away because it's not 4x6.
Mm-hmm.
And even at 4x6, they're going to want to search. So listen to me now. If I impart zero extra wisdom, you gotta buy a clear plastic bag. And I wish I could find a decent printer because I would have them on the shop right now. But I can't find somebody I trust to do it the right way. So I don't know who all these other companies, because the team stores have them. So if you just go into the team store, then you can get one. But I'll tell you what, I have done this twice. I have been turned away at the gate for really, really stupid, hyper-vigilant security guards. And I appreciate that. I've been in security before. I understand why they're doing the way they're doing and what they're being told. But there's nothing worse than having to go back all the way to your car to put whatever it is back, and now you are left without diapers and wipes or your wife's wallet or whatever because she didn't have pockets or whatever. Get a clear plastic bag. You can take a gallon-sized freezer bag. It's the same thing. Okay, you don't have to buy one fancy. We have one. It says Greenville Drive on it. It's awesome.
Nice. I didn't think about that. I did see the other day there is a club. I can't remember if it's the Padres. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but they were strictly clear bags this season.
Yep, it's new.
I think that's I was gonna say I think if ballparks aren't doing it yet, give it a year or two. Everybody will. Everybody will be doing it.
It's so true.
So
we didn't know. So we went on that big road trip and we saw all these baseball games, and we started to see just during that 2017 season, the further east we got, the more common it became, to the point where we were like, whoa, like during the course of one season, it was like we have to have this. Anyway, that's my number 3.
Yeah, great one. My number 3, get to the ballpark. Get your food right away.
Number 1, yes.
Okay. First thing you do when you get through the door, get your food. Because there's several reasons for this. One, the lines are not as long before the game starts. There'll be some places that are going to have a little bit of a line, but generally speaking, the lines are not nearly as long when you first get there as they are after maybe the first or second inning.
Oh, okay. Totally. Yeah.
That being said, part of your ballpark experience is eating. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So, like we said this on our ballpark food episode, get there, get your hot dog, get some fries and a drink, whatever goes with your hot dog, and then wait a couple innings, go get your second course. Wait a couple innings, go get your dessert. I love, like I said, at T-Mobile. I haven't been there since they changed it to T-Mobile. I hope they still have them at Safeco. I used to always get chocolate covered strawberries, and I even got one time a deep fried Rice Krispie treat.
What?
Holy moly!
Did you just?
And that was like Yeah, that was like a 7th inning treat. I was like, yeah, this is going to be it. But
Wow.
holy smokes, it was fantastic.
See, and that's the way you're absolutely right. First inning, third-ish inning, middle of the 6th, maybe beginning of the 6th.
Yeah.
That's exactly the interval you need.
That's right. It gives you just enough time to settle and wait for the next
That's
one
right.
to come in.
You're absolutely
So,
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So get your food right away.
Let's take a
Let's
quick
take a
break.
quick break.
Yeah,
And when we
Yeah.
get back,
you.
we'll go 4 and 5.
No matter which ballpark you're at, you want to rep your team. Now you can with 9+ Us. Welcome to the Big City Series. With every design available in your team's colors, you can fit in with the home crowd or stand out on the road. Either way, we have the colors you crave. Shop the Big City Series and find designs that rep your favorite baseball podcast, cheer from the cheap seats, and much more. Shop the Big City Series only at 9plusus.com.
All right, baseball family, welcome back. Brad and I are going to continue with this list building that we've been doing. We have number 4 and number 5 from both of our lists on how to maximize your experience at the ballpark. So, Brad, I really want to know what your number 4 is.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give this one with a little bit of a disclaimer.
Okay, I love caveats. Yes, I love it.
I don't know for sure if every ballpark does this. I'm pretty sure they do. I think it's a major league wide thing. But when we took Wilson to Safeco Field for the first time, we got him a first game certificate. Right?
Ooh.
So you go to like customer service, and there was a little bit of a line. We were in and out of there probably 5 minutes or so. But they put his name on it and said this is his first Mariners game, and it was a lot of fun. You know, like he was, like I said, he was a little over 1 at the time. He didn't understand at the time, but I know he's such a big baseball fan and he loves going to baseball games that someday he's going to look at that and he's going to think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I bet if I showed it to him tomorrow, he would love it. He'd think it was really cool because he loves stuff like that. So, I mean, even if you're an adult and you want some kind of keepsake for the game, go get yourself a first game certificate for a ballpark. So,
And is it free?
it's free. Yeah. Gratis. Absolutely free.
Gratis.
Don't at me.
Well,
I know it's gratis.
You can't beat gratis, bro.
Gratis is the best. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's
Totally
good.
gratis. So, you don't have to pay for it. So, go ahead and
That's
do it.
awesome.
All right, Brig. Number 4.
Number 4, every ballpark has its own little identity. It has its own feel. It's got its own personality. You could argue that it has its own culture, that it almost exudes on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're into the architecture or the flow of traffic, which I think is interesting because I've been to a billion ballparks and a billion different games. But every ballpark is set up differently, and it's all, to take something so similar and do it 100,000 different ways is really special.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is that about the 3rd or so inning, somewhere between 3rd and 4th inning, get up and go walk around. Explore the concourse, explore the upper deck, see what food vendors change, see what amenities are available, where's the kid stuff, if there's a dog park, like you said, if go see, is there a pool? What's the train operator doing? At Chase Field, you can walk over to the organist. You can sit there. You can stand there right behind the organist, and he's there with his organ, and it is fabulous. I have video of that, so maybe we can put it over here. But yeah, like experience a ballpark itself has its own personality. So I think somewhere between the 3rd or 4th inning and no later than about the 6th inning, middle of the 6th-ish, when you're getting your food anyway, that second round of food, go explore, go walk around, go get a feel for it. That's number 4.
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we it's always smart to prepare ahead, right? No matter what you're doing. But I mean, you can always hop on YouTube to see what there is available.
Yeah, of course.
The ballparks on their web or the teams on their website are going to have a bunch of information about their park. So if you want to ahead of time, you can take a look at what's available and make a plan. Like we're going to get up at the third inning, we're going to go walk around, and this is what we're going to go see.
Yes.
Or when we get there for batting practice, we're going to go take a lap and we're going to go see these things. So
Totally.
yeah, like you said, every single ballpark has a ton of stuff to see because the park itself is as much about the fan experience away from the game as it is toward the game.
Totally.
Days. Like
Totally.
I think in Miami they used to have a bobblehead museum.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, super cool. I think the new ownership group got rid of it, but the fact they had it, the fact that they had a bobblehead museum was so cool. Super cool to me.
Well, like at Yankee Stadium, they have Monument Park, and I mean it's a cathedral anyway. But then you go to SunTrust. They have all 755 bats from Hank Aaron's home run.
Oh, that's cool.
It is stacked in the number 755.
That's amazing.
No, dude. So you're right. Every ballpark has its own thing. It celebrates its own culture. It celebrates its own history and heritage. And there's so much to do and see, and you don't have to be in the platinum super cool kid club.
Yeah.
It's just there. So I love, and some minor league ballparks have famous major leaguers that came through the system there, like in Oklahoma City, for example, or in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They have banners of the famous players, or they'll have the names etched into the brickwork on the side of the building. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff that makes baseball super special. So that's my
absolutely.
number 4.
And they have Mike Trout all over. I don't know what it's called now, at the ballpark in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
In fact,
Smith's Ballpark is what it used to be called.
Yeah, it's what it used to be called. The Wi-Fi password, it says name and number that he used there. So if you can find out the number, then you can get on the Wi-Fi there.
Whoa,
that's you guys. What? I probably shouldn't have shared that, but whatever.
That's some deep trivia there, bro. Love it. What's your number 4, Brad?
So, this is number 5. This is my last one.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did 4.
I mean, we talk. The name of the podcast is Baseball Together. So what better way to go to a ballpark is with your friends or family, right? Make sure you go with a group because, yes, you can have a bunch of fun by yourself because then there's no time constraints, there's no activity constraints. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, spend however long you want doing it.
Yes.
But as most things in life, a baseball game, the ballpark, everything about the experience is best shared with somebody. Like it's so much fun to just go. Like I went to a Salt Lake Bees game with my cousin. We hadn't ever been to a baseball game together, but we both grew up playing. And so we sat there. We had killer seats behind home plate. We were just sitting there, just talking about the game, talking about what we saw, talking about whatever, But it was a super cool experience that we got to share together, just the two of us, at this ball game. So whether it's like I said, like your family, we talk a lot about going to games with our wives and kids. If you're going with the boys, it's a great guys' night out. Totally great guys' night out.
So on that topic, we do meetups here locally, and Tiffany and I will take Olivia and we'll go do meetups with members of the 9+ Us VIP group.
Nice.
At local or nearby, or within our limit is 5 hours. If we can get to your ballpark in 5 hours, we should plan a meetup. And we did it in Greenville, we've done it in Columbia, we did it in Augusta, we did it in Charlotte, we did it in Salt Lake when I was there. And you're right, dude. That is a killer bullet point. That I don't even know how I could follow that up because that's like
Thanks,
we
man.
should end there.
So can I do real quick? Speaking of meetups, I've been thinking about this. I'm going to be in spring training in a couple weeks, March 3rd through like the 7th or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't have the games in front of me. I'm going to be going to 2 games that week. I don't have them in front of me. I'll have them for next week's episode for sure. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're at those games, like I said, I'll let you know what they are next week before I leave. If you're at those games, come find me. I'll buy you a hot dog. 'Cause, I mean, that's kind of thing you do, right, Brig? You buy the.
That's
guys
what
a
I
hot
do.
dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you happen to be in Arizona, happen to be at the same game, whatever, come find me. I mean, I know it's a long shot with every game going on in that city that day, but I'll let you know. Come find me. I'll buy you a hot dog.
That's
Say hi.
awesome, man.
So.
And at least in Arizona, in the Cactus League, they're relatively close. Like it's not like in the Florida Grapefruit League where you it takes 3 hours to get from start to finish. You know.
Yeah, everything's within like 45 minutes to an hour now.
Yeah, no, it's
an
awesome.
hour with traffic is all. It's not like they have those games down in Tucson anymore. So
yeah, no, dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. I hope those that are watching and listening actually meet up with you because that is exactly
I hope so too.
what it should
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be way cool.
So I'm going to
cool.
second that. I might fly to Arizona just to. I don't know. I'm kind of busy.
Sweet.
But they wouldn't let me in the ballpark, but there's the whole thing about getting a ticket. I don't know. Okay, so my number 5 is wherever you are, because I like to go to different ballparks. I love different ballparks. I hope I made that clear last time. But wherever you find yourself, sample the local funky food thing, whatever it is.
Yes.
Right. Just try it. Just try it. Right. If you're in Chicago, there are 2 kinds of wildly different kinds of hot dogs depending on which side of Chicago you're on at which kind of ballpark. When you're at Chase Field, I mean, they are all about margaritas at Chase Field, and they're all about this weird, super cool churro hot dog thing with
the churro dog.
Yeah, with the buffalo chips on it, the strips. Try that crap. Like, you got to have that experience. You don't know if you'll ever be in Phoenix again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have had weird food and weird hot dog variations all across the country, and it is like I will never forget those experiences. You've got to do it. If you're into beer and there's a local brewery that does a beer that's like, so here in Greenville, the 13 Stripes Brewery, which I toured their brewery the other day, and I had the opportunity to help brew. I was a participant in the brewing process, I guess. We helped grind up the malt and things like that. But
nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it was for a fallen soldier memorial. For Memorial Day, they're going to do a couple of different beers, specifically tribute to Gold Star families and their fallen heroes. So it was really cool. I work for a veteran service organization. We got to be a part of it. But the point is, that brewery, 13 Stripes, local brewery, they sponsor a beer specifically for the Greenville Drive last season.
That's cool.
That's what they did.
Super cool.
So if you're into beer, that kind of thing is what I think is. It just, I don't know. Culture and food are interchangeable, and you can't have one without the other. So that's my number 5. Funky foods at the funky ballparks.
And if you go to Seattle, get the chocolate covered strawberries because they're fantastic.
Right.
Second, you gotta do the fried grasshoppers.
See,
you gotta do it.
See, that's funky, man. That's what I'm talking about.
It is funky, but if you don't knock it till you try it, I'll be honest with you.
Totally.
But you gotta try it. You gotta try it when you're there.
And the garlic fries that you rave about.
Oh,
I gotta have
garlic
that.
Fries.
Yes.
Oh. Yes, you do.
See.
Yes, you do.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I think that talk about maximizing your experience, right? It's the only place to get that thing. It's the only way to have that experience, and I can't go without it.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. You have to do it. In Arizona at spring training, I noticed they had. If you've never heard of a Sonoran dog, it's basically like a green chili hot dog.
Yep.
They have them all over the Cactus League.
Yes.
At pretty much every ballpark. You got to try it. They're fantastic. You got to eat them while you're there. So.
Bingo. Okay, now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Before we wrap this up, do you have any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. I didn't have an honorable mention.
That's okay.
But I would think that I would have to say something like, if you're bringing kids, just be prepared,
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
we brought 2 kids to the Cactus League last year, and they were both under the age of 5. And
You're brave souls.
brave,
Yeah.
very brave. But be prepared with anything you need. Like some ballparks are pretty lax with snacks for little kids.
Yeah.
Like you can bring in like fruit snacks, whatever. If they'll let you do that, go ahead and bring them in. Be prepared to get up and walk around. Like we said that, it's not like it's not enjoyable to go walk around a ballpark. Some ballparks are more readily available for that than others.
Sure.
Like I actually want to do a little segment later after I go to Arizona talking about kind of experience at ballparks. But I'll tell you right now, the Peoria Sports Complex is very family friendly. It's very easy to get up and walk around with a kid because the concourses are nice and wide.
Yeah.
You're not cramped. Whereas Scottsdale Stadium is more of a party and things are a little bit more cramped.
That makes sense.
So
It's good to know.
So kind of be aware of the stadium where you're going and kind of prepare yourself with your kids what you're going to need to do during the game.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you? Honorable mention.
Yeah. So I asked my wife. I said, she helped me build this list. We do baseball together. So I said, Tiff, what else would you say? And she said, you know what? Stay for the dang fireworks.
Yeah.
Like if there's gonna, there's this mass exodus thing that happens at the end of the game, and not always. If people know there are fireworks,
Right.
then they'll typically stay. But you get those people who are so eager to beat traffic and they just got to get out of there, or their kid. If your kid is throwing a fit and just can't hang, get out. I'm not trying to tell you how to parent. You parent however you want. If your kid's bedtime, we were at a hockey game tonight, and she was up way too late, but she fell asleep in the car, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But the point is, if you can swing it, chill out, man, and stay for the fireworks, because there's nothing better than ending a baseball game in America in the summertime with a fireworks show.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So the traffic is just not that bad. Just stay for the fireworks.
That's a great one. I love that. That's fan-freaking-tastic.
Thanks, man. That was Tiff's suggestion.
Always. Thanks, Tiff. That's a great
Yeah.
one. Stay for the fireworks.
Stay.
If your kids can hang. If they can't hang,
Yeah.
then you got to do
You
what
got to
gotta
make
do.
your parenting decisions however you make them.
Yeah.
That's not my choice.
What's best for you, your life.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, baseball family, let us know some of the things that you do to have a great experience at the ballpark. Is there anything we left out? You can go ahead and comment on YouTube, comment on the VIP group on Facebook. You can even leave a comment on wherever you get your podcast. I know Apple Podcasts will let you comment while you're there. You can like and subscribe, rate, review, whatever, but just let us know what you think makes a great ballpark experience.
Don't forget to jump on the shop as well. It's 9plusus.com, or you can use shop.9plusus.com. Whatever you want. We have this hat. This is my perfect hat. This is the navy blue one. We're making some changes to the shop. We have some new stuff coming that really only Brad and I know about right now. And
That's right.
it is so exciting. We are going to do a design drop. I think I mentioned this last time. We're going to do a design drop once a month this season, and we have, I think, the first 4 done. So,
Nice.
like life could not be more fun right now. Baseball season has started. New designs are ready. We have samples of them. We know things you don't know. It's so much fun. Anyway, jump on the shop. I think next week, let's drop a discount code just for podcasters, just for our YouTube family and our podcast family. What do you think of that, Brad?
I think that's a great idea. Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. We'll drop a discount code. It'll be a spring training thing. And then don't forget that our first design drop of the season is going to be March 2nd. First Monday of the March. The March. It's true.
First Monday of March. That's fantastic.
True fact.
You can, like we said, you can interact with us on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, whatever, but you can also interact on baseballtogether.com. You can read some of the stuff we write about baseball, and you can also submit to our mailbag. Brig mentioned that earlier. you can click the link in the description everywhere you get your podcast, and it'll take you right there. You can send your questions, comments, concerns, snide remarks, whatever you want.
Snide remarks.
We'll give you a shout on the podcast.
We welcome snide remarks.
So,
That's good.
That's right. We definitely do. And baseball family, thanks for joining us. We will catch you next week.